Hey guys, what's going on? So it's seasonal day, and with that, we've got some new reveals to break down today. Now, I'm going to be casting the Americas seasonal, and that's going to be later today. It starts at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so by the time you're watching this video, there's a good chance it's already started. It's going to be on twitch.tv/Legends of Runeterra. Is going to be, the seasonal broadcast, and I will be casting the top 8, which means I'll probably be on a couple of hours after it starts. And on the broadcast, we will be revealing Pyke. Now, Pyke, you guys might have, pointed out, Pyke was leaked. However, I'm not going to talk about Pyke in this video because I'm a little, I'm a little bit scared that they might not want me to talk about a leaked card that I'm literally revealing in a couple hours. But in this video, I'll be talking about the other cards that are going to be, that were already revealed. And if you guys want to check out Pyke and how he works and what he does, you can check out the seasonal, and we'll be revealing partway through. Now, it's actually really, really cool. I'm loving how Lurk ended up as an archetype. And yeah, so check out the seasonal and enjoy the cards revealed today. All right, so you might notice I've gotten significantly sweatier in this transition. That's because I just went for a run. We're going to start off nice and simple with Swiftwing Aviary or Swiftwing Formation. This card was revealed in the Korean seasonal tournament, as you can tell. Thankfully, I happen to be completely fluent in Korean, so I can read that when you play this card, it will offer you either a Silverwing Vanguard, Blinding Assault, or Fleet Feather Tracker. It actually gives you all three as an option. You choose which one you want to add to your hand. So it's sort of like Fangs, except you're getting the same three options every single time. Of course, this card is a 4-mana 3/2 with Challenger, and it has a second effect, which is when you attack with this card, it gives all your other challenging allies also attacking +1/+1. Which is pretty powerful. It means whenever you get in a full swing with this card, you're buffing your entire board. If you're running a few challengers, right, it'll buff all of your challengers. And in Demacia, that can actually be quite a few of them. Also note that the 3 cards this card gives you an option to select in your hand, and I will be just pulling them up here because a lot of you guys might not know Silverwing Vanguard. This card isn't really typically main decked, but it's the 4-mana 2/1 Challenger that summons an exact copy of it, which has some pretty good synergy because if you play this on top, basically all 3 of your cards are going to be 3/2 Challengers, which can trade down a board. And then, of course, the other 2 cards being Blending Assault, the Summon for Valor, and Fleet Feather Tracker. And the fact that it gives you all 3 Challengers is pretty nice. You've got some good options on this. And yeah, it's pretty solid overall. I think it can fit into a lot of kind of just like general value patterns for Demacia. The only question is whether this is going to actually like fit into a deck. That I don't know if there's a specific deck already that this would just easily slide into, but it looks pretty viable. It's one of the better cards that they've revealed so far. Definitely will be seeing some experimentation at the very least. The next card we've got is Sacred Protector. This is actually a card that I tweeted about, and honestly, it's not bad. I thought it was quite a bit worse, but the more I look at it, the more it's definitely something that I guess could see play in some decks. So Sacred Protector is a 7-mana 8/6. It's an Ionian card. When you summon it, it draws the Shen. So it's sort of like a boat. It's like the Leviathan or the Gangplank boat. Basically just an expensive card that draws you the champion, or yeah, King Jarvan the Third. Its effect is when your allies have barrier. When your allies have barrier, they also have double attack. Basically just as a passive aura. Now, the thing about this card is that, I mean, it might be able to fit into, Fiora Shen or Shen Jarvan style lists as like a one-of. It's not, it's not terrible, but it will not be getting you that much value with double attack on average. I think that double attack is really not bad. It might be able to close out some games, but overall, double attack is kind of an overrated keyword. Unless you have like something like Overwhelm, which you're not going to have access to in these colors. It will often kind of not be doing anything. Your opponent's often going to be like jumping down your board anyway. And Sacred Protector doesn't have, barrier itself. It's kind of only useful if you already have, a Shen on the board. So I'm worried it might be a little bit win more. And its stat line is, it's all right, but it kind of often won't be getting places as a 7-mana 8/6. Oftentimes your lose condition with, this kind of Demacia Shen deck is just getting chump blocked down, and then the opponent having a way to just win the game regardless of your board after that. And Sacred Protector doesn't really help that at all. I mean, you're still getting chump blocked in all the same ways, so it can be helpful in some kinds of matchups. I expect it to actually see some sort of experimentation in some specific metas where you want this for like the mid-range grindy mirrors. But apart from that, I don't think it's going to be as impactful as some of the other cards. Still better than most of the like expensive champion tutors. It's still better than, for example, like, you know, like Misfortune's Siren, you know, for example, it's going to be better than that for sure. And it will at least see some amount of play. And the final card here, and this is probably going to be the most exciting, is Jawfish. Now, as you can tell from the title of the video, this is the finisher that Lurks have felt like they wanted, and this card will kind of solidify the Lurk archetype as a whole, right? Lurker was seen as kind of like an aggro archetype. For the most part, this card wants them to slow down quite a bit. So it's an 8-mana 2/7 Lurk, and of course, at this stage in the game, it'll probably be like a 6/7 or a 7/7. You'll have lurked a good amount of time. And when you play it, each Lurker ally strikes a random enemy. Now, this will go on the stack, and this card is very reminiscent of Riptide Rex, basically, which is just, it's got a very powerful play effect where a bunch of these things go on the stack and threaten your opponent's entire board. But the difference is that in the grindy, beefy mid-range mirrors, like, if the opponent has a big board, this card will annihilate that board potentially, right? Like, Riptide Rex won't necessarily do a lot into, you know, like back in the day when like Radiant Guardian stuff like that, like sometimes a lot of things would get absorbed by Riptide Rex. If you have a board of a few Lurkers, Jawfish's playability will kind of just kill that board. Your Lurker allies will all have like +5, +6 attack at that stage in the game, maybe like +4, but it'll still be like a decent amount of attack at that stage in the game, right? And it will threaten quite a bit on the opponent's board when this drops. So it's pretty nice, and like I said, it sort of gives Lurk a direction for a deck. They're not just an aggro deck, they have this kind of like mid-range, top-end, board-based finisher. And overall, I gotta say, I really love the direction that Lurker has taken as an archetype in the last couple of days of reveals. You guys know that, you know, on the initial Shurima cards, like, I was kind of lukewarm to it. It was alright, like, I mean, it always had the potential to be cool if the champions were cool. But in seeing the reveals in the last couple of days, mostly just these Bilgewater cards, right? In seeing that, you know, Jaull-Fish is the finisher you wanted, and especially in some of the reveals that we got a couple of days ago, you know, with Redfin Hammersnout, Sharkling, these are really, really powerful cards that just like help the Lurk archetype kind of like work through its early game. Even Ripper's Bay is pretty interesting, and the list is just a super interesting concept. So I'm honestly really, really warming up to this Lurk archetype, like off of the back of these new cards and how they work. I'm actually seeing a ton of potential here, not just in terms of like competitive viability, but in terms of just being a somewhat of an interesting archetype that plays in a bit more of a different or unique way. This finisher is a pretty big part of that. I do love Jawfish, and it's looking, it's definitely looking like something that will be competitively ran, at least to some degree, in Lurk decks. Alright guys, that's going to be it for these 3 reveals. As mentioned at the start of the video, I'm going to be in the broadcast for the NI Seasonals today. This broadcast is going to be starting at something, it starts at about 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so from the time this video is posted, the broadcast will be live 2 hours after this video is posted on YouTube. And I'll be casting the top 8 of the broadcast, so I'll be up a couple of hours after that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and keep in mind, we are going to be revealing Pyke officially on the broadcast as well. And you know, let me tell you, Pyke's pretty crazy. You're not going to want to miss it. Alright guys, that's it for today's reveals. Hope to see you in the seasonal top 32 cast later today. If you want to join in, I'll put it in the pinned comment, but it's twitch.tv/Legends of Runeterra again. And I'll see you guys there. Tomorrow on stream, if you missed the broadcast, I'll be deck building. I'll be, you know, going through these archetypes like Lurk and like field promotion stuff I've been talking about, and actually building through decks. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. If you missed the seasonal, I'll see you tomorrow on stream. All right, guys, take care.